What's going on, guys? So in today's pitching talks, we're going to talk about bullpen routines. So I think for most of you that have been following me for a while and listening to my stuff, you guys probably get the sense for me being an advocate for being intentional, right? So I talk about being intentional with a lot of things and going about your work. So the biggest thing that I can think of in regards to like maximizing your potential and really wanting to, accomplish your goals, reach your goals, it's too hard of a game to not be intentional with what you're doing. It's too hard of a game to kind of just like walk through the motions and just show up. You know what I mean? And just kind of just have this mentality where, okay, I'm just going to show up 7 days a week and that should take care of my goals. No, that's not how it is. If you have really big goals, in which hopefully you do, intentionality should be a huge piece to the way that you go about your stuff. So today I want to talk about the bullpen routine specifically, and I'm talking about on a bullpen day or throwing a bullpen, or even we can sit here and talk about like the flat grounds and catch in general, but I want to specifically talk about the bullpen routine because I think this is a really big disconnect, especially with youth, high schoolers, even upwards into college, and I've seen it, I've done it myself professionally as well, where it's like, oh, it's just a bullpen day, I'm kind of just going to go about 40% and just throw to throw, right? And I'm going to walk a kind of a slippery slope, because there are moments, especially in a professional season, where you get late in the year and you're like, okay, well, this bullpen, I'm going to go 20% intensity. That's fine, because maybe you're tired, you had a big start. I get that, but I want to kind of tailor this to the overall mindset and approach to a bullpen. So the biggest thing, and I want to create like a PDF, and I'm going to do that soon on kind of like a piece of paper that actually holds you accountable for what your plan for that specific bullpen is, because I think I'm an advocate for having a plan for every single thing you do, especially in your bullpens. And the way that you develop your plans is based off like the types of things in your past outing that maybe you struggled with, or even like visualizing a specific hitter that you're going to face in that next game. And then obviously it varies per if it's an off-season bullpen or whatnot. But I want to create a PDF in that it kind of, you hold yourself accountable by writing out your plan for that specific bullpen, and then you go back after the pen and you kind of jot down what you did well and what you didn't do well. I want to create that PDF. I'm going to here in the near future. So for those of you guys who are listening to this on the podcast, or even just on here, therobbyrowshow.com/bullpen routine, all one word. I'm going to have that PDF available eventually. I promise it'll be on that page when I release this, hopefully. But so when we're talking about intentional bullpens, man, like I said, you got to have a plan, because I think you got to connect that brain and that body, because as soon as you tell your mind like, hey, this is what we're doing, I think your body's going to follow. And if you go into a bullpen not really having an idea on what you want to work on or what you want to accomplish, it's going to be a lot harder for you to do that task, right? So then you kind of get in that that area where you're just going through the motions and throwing your bullpen just to throw the bullpens. Oh, I'll throw a fastball here, I guess I'll throw a curveball here, and whatever. There's a ton of different ways to approach a bullpen. For me, one lost art that I think about when approaching a bullpen is like identifying the struggles within your last outing. Okay, I got 0-2 to a lot of guys and I wasn't able to put a lot of guys away. What the heck, my strikeout pitches aren't there. Well, dude, treat your next flat ground like, hey, we're going to get loose, we're going to throw some, down way, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, like, hey, we're going to treat these like 0-2 pitches, 0-2, 1-2s. Let's go. We're going four seam up, letters. Okay, now we're going curveball on the plate. We're going slider, glove side down. We're going change up, arm side into a righty. Like all of these like things, it gives you a really good idea on how to, not only get better at your strikeout pitches, but to feel comfortable throwing those strikeout pitches in your next game, right? Like we all sit here and talk about how this is our best sequence and this is that and this is that. Well, like, get better at that. And the only way, not the only way, but a really big way to get better at that is to put those into practice. You know what I mean? Like, we can't just expect to go out into the game and then have, you know, all of these different weapons. So obviously, big advocate for being intentional and allowing, you know, what the hitters are telling you in the game to listen and put those into practice. And then another thing you can do, like within your bullpens, because this is another thing that I think a lot of guys, including myself, struggle with sometimes, is we get so comfortable in our bullpens, right? Like, we throw our bullpens in a very comfortable setting. We're just kind of, you know, no one's in the box. We're just sitting here throwing, you know, nothing's really on the line. And then you get out into a game and things speed up and they kind of tend to unravel. So for those types of individuals, I'm like, hey, let's manipulate the game environment as best we can, right? What do I mean by that? So, you know, have one of your buddies that's a hitter, or for me, I always like say, who's the best hitter on the team right now? Who's seeing it the best? Hey, do you mind, you know, spending 5 to 10 minutes? I'll buy you lunch, sit in the box, and just kind of let me know. You know, I'm going to be throwing these and kind of, you know, give me some feedback, because not only does that help you, because now, you know, different animal comes out in you because someone's in the box, but it also helps you in the sense of, you know, you're having immediate feedback from a hitter in the box that's seen it well. So he's like, hey, on your curveball, you know, maybe it pops out a little bit, or hey, when you're throwing a changeup, you know, you really drastically slow down your front side, or just little tiny things like that can be extremely beneficial for you in your development. But yeah, I really wanted to hit on just like the whole bullpen thing, because look, man, like when we're trying to improve on our craft, you know, obviously there's a ton of different things we can do, from the weight room to drill settings and, you know, even the mental game. But, you know, when it comes to bullpens, man, we got to take full advantage of those, because, you know, those are as close as we can get to actually game environments. And another good example of like treating those bullpens with just, you know, being super intentional is like replicate a game as best as possible. So for me as a starter, what I started doing later in my career was I would look ahead and say, okay, who's my next start against? You know, okay, we got this guy, this team. All right, who's, you know, 1 through 9? I pick out their 3 best hitters. And now when I'm doing my bullpen, you know, I start my first half of my bullpen. So my first half's, you know, maybe like 20 to 30 pitches of what I want to work on, you know, whether it be like a specific pitch or a specific sequence, or setting up a pitch and executing a pitch. Set that on my first set, and then I, you know, put the glove down, take a break, sit down, water, 10 minutes, get back up there. Now we're trying to replicate the game. So take my 3 best hitters for the next, for my next outing, and now I'm in game mode, you know, like, okay, this guy, so-and-so, he's a 2-hole hitter, lefty. This is what he likes to do. These are his tendencies. This is his spray chart. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to attack him. And now let's put that into practice. Let's start executing it, right? So what does that do for you, right? Not only does it get you better at, you know, pitch execution and practicing that, but it prepares your mind for the moment too. So when you get in the moment, you know, your mind's already like, hey, we've already been here before, you know, we've already put this into practice. So then that comfort comes about, right? That comfort. I believe that for the most part, guys get really uncomfortable on the mound, or you know, not so much like getting really nervous on the mound, but I think for the guys that get really, really uncomfortable on the mound, it's because your preparation doesn't look like what you're trying to do on the mound in a game. I think that's plain and simple, right? Because the mind, we all know, is such a powerful thing. And if you feed into it as far as like you practicing what you're trying to accomplish, then that sense of comfort and confidence is going to come about. So I think that literally is the foundation for why I'm so passionate about this, because I specifically noticed it, you know, freaking early in my career. You know, I was drafted at 18. I was like 18, 19 years old. And, you know, I kind of just went about my day a lot of the times, like just throwing to throw and get loose and get ready for the game. And then I'd get into a game and I'd start trying to like execute pitches, sequences, you know, setting up guys. And it was like, of course I failed. I didn't practice that. I literally was out on the game mound in a game under the lights, professional hitters, trying to do things that I necessarily hadn't practiced. Yeah, I mean, like we all can sit here and like, oh, we practice like the throw, that's fine, but are you practicing like a glove side two seam followed by a cutter down and away off that same slot? I wasn't, and I mean, it was a direct correlation, I think, to my failure. So again, that's just a big reason why I'm passionate about, you know, being intentional, especially in your bullpen routines. Like I said in the beginning, we can talk about how it kind of feeds into, you know, your everyday work day, you know, whether it be a flat ground, whether it be your catch play, whether it be your long toss, whether it be, you know, your visualization, man, all of these things, like I think we can take it up a notch, we can step it up a notch, and we can improve that much more each and every day. So that's why I wanted to hammer this one home. Like I mentioned earlier about that PDF, I really want to create that little, just that piece of paper, you know, even for myself, that kind of is going to hold me accountable for, you know, having a thing that says, okay, what is my plan for today? All right, if that's my plan, how am I going to attack it? Okay, if I attacked it this way, like what's going to happen? Or, you know, after I got done with my work day, like go back to that and look at it and go, okay, this is what I wanted to do, this is what actually happened, and how can I improve next time? So I'm going to try to create that PDF for you guys. Can be found therobbyrowshow.com/bullpen routine. I'll try to clip some of my bullpens and kind of show you, you know, how I go about that. Now that I'm starting to get more and more into my, you know, rehab, and now I'm starting to get maybe towards where I can get on the mound, I want to do some where I strap on a mic, you know, and I talk you guys through like how I'm going to approach a bullpen. Obviously it's going to be different because I'm not, you know, throwing all my pitches and whatnot, but you know, on the show notes you'll find some bullpen footage of me, and it just goes to show, like, you know, a specific thing that I'm working on, and this is what it looks like when I'm working on this thing, and, you know, this is how I'm kind of sequencing my pitches and X, Y, and Z. So be sure to go head over there, therobbyrowshow.com/bullpen routine. As always, much love, and reach out, email any questions that you guys have. For the podcast listeners, always much love. Share this with anyone that you think can benefit from it. If you guys have a teammate that you see that doesn't really, you know, put a lot of things into practice, or just a teammate that you want to share this with in general, I'd appreciate any type of shares. So as always, love you guys, God bless, and good luck in your next bullpen. We'll see you guys.